Ooh, I got a green light. Oh, says we're streaming and the health is questionable. I don't know if that's talking about the stream or if it's talking about me. So I love how, okay, this is the best thing about every stream, and we're live right now, so fingers crossed. But nobody ever knows what's working. Now there's like a picture coming up. Holy hell. There's a delay. I don't even know. I'm going to stop.
Honestly, your crossed fingers look like double middle fingers, too, at the same time. So you're like,
what?
I don't know if this is working, but...
But y'all can suck it. I think it's working. The only thing I don't know, I can't see is like a chat, if that's happening.
Where would the chat be happening?
That's an excellent question. It might be on the actual page itself. Hang on real quick. This is scintillating content for anybody who's watching right now. That's all I know. Nope.
Yes.
Hang on. Is it? Are you looking at it?
No, I was answering your question. Your rhetorical question.
Hang on.
Now I'm going to the live stream.
I'm gonna go to my own channel. One person's watching it. It's us. Go to my own channel. Oh, one person's watching it. That's not good. Okay, I was watching my own. Okay, screw it. I don't know if I can see chat stuff in here or not. So, oh wait, chat is disconnected. Successfully connected. All right, hang on. Here we go. Great start so far. I'm killing it. I know that. Feel free to ask questions. Technically, it wasn't 8:30 when we started, but hell, here we go. We're just gonna jump right into it. This is just a conversation between me and Joe, and if anybody else is watching, awesome. You can watch it. You can watch it later if you want. Welcome to the Hyperthetical Happy Hour. It's not a show, but we'll pretend like it is. And the whole idea is I pose ridiculous questions to good friends, and we enjoy a drink. So, as we do in the new normal, this is how we do things now. Anyway, my name's Tom Brazelton, if that matters to you. My friend here is Joe Dunn. Hi. We've been good friends, webcomic compatriots from back in the day. You're still current day.
No.
Not at all.
I refuse to let it die officially, but they kind of...
Yeah. Life gets
tough now. They're changed.
I can't keep up with all the flagrant nudity. It's too much. Never could.
Expect the C word to become such an old thing.
Just reminds me of that SNL sketch where they had like Horatio Sands, and they were like, we used to rap about, like they were 80s rappers. We used to rap about sneakers and people who talk too much. Anyway, that's us. But we'll just get right into it because I don't know how long the Zoom's going to last. I presume 40 minutes. So it's like operate.
That's a Zoom thing, right? Like they can only last 40 minutes.
I think so, unless you pay for it. I ain't paying for it. But it's like being in a diving bell. You only get so much time. And they got to bring you back up. Joe, what are you drinking real quick?
I'm not a big drinker, so I just have a Blue Moon. Beer
I see.
Disappearing into the background. Got it all in front of me.
There you go. Very nice. We got to get you. We got to get you paid for that. I made an old fashioned, and see, it's doing it to me too.
Yeah.
I did the little thing with the orange peel because that's what the instructions said to do.
Are you a fancy drinker guy? Do you normally have nice drinks?
Not generally, no. I'll just do like a Jack and Coke for the most part because I'm like, this goes in here and then you're done. You know, like. But I remembered I actually got like a cocktail book for Christmas this year. I was like, break that out. We gotta try it. So,
Jack and Coke is a perfect drink for someone like me at a bar because like I had so much anxiety with it going up to the bartender. Especially when I first started to go to bars. Jack and Coke is like, it's not a heavy drink. It's not like a like a whiskey or anything.
No.
And at the same time, it's not something where the bartender will look down on you. I mean, it's just a drink.
My logic always was if it was good enough for Johnny Ramone and Frank Sinatra, it was good enough for me. Like they're Jack and Coke drinkers. So, but it's not sophisticated either. You're not just like put the soda in the whiskey and give it. Like that's how I feel every time I order one. But my friend will order like Maker's Mark and Coke, and I'm like, oh, we classy. Like,
Wow.
someone got some scratch. He just likes it. Anyway, no, but I'm doing the old fashioned. I think I'm gonna. I was telling Joe before we started. Ever since that Stanley Tucci video came out of him making a Negroni, I'm like, I've never had a Negroni, and now I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna give it a shot. So maybe the next.
If you want to make it properly, you have to work out your arms for 20 years. Put your tightest t-shirt on.
And be smooth.
Active community.
If you want a proper Negroni, you have to have starred in Big Night and The Devil Wears Prada. Otherwise, it's not good. You don't. No one's gonna want to drink that. All right, well, let's dive in. Cheers.
Cheers. I saw a tweet right before we started, and it said, podcasting has become a way for men to just an excuse for men to have meaningful conversations.
Yeah. Not entirely
So,
wrong, but I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was funny and true, as something that I was about to do.
Sorry.
We are about to have a meaningful conversation, or of sorts, that we wouldn't normally be having.
True. That's one thing that this is all racked into focus for me is, and especially with even like friends I have locally, you can't get together with them. They have kids, you have kids. You can't coordinate your schedules. It's awful. And then this technology was just sitting there the whole time, and everybody went, "Huh?" And now that you've been backed into a corner with it, you're like, "Damn, we should be doing this more often." I don't know why we don't. So it's been nice, truthfully. But and I mean, this is amazing because you're on the East Coast. I'm here in the Midwest, and I mean, like.
Rival football teams.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be friends at all.
Competing accents. It shouldn't be natural. It shouldn't. There's no reason that we should know each other, and yet it all worked out really nice. So, anywho, here's the idea. So I got this years ago. This Chuck Klosterman's Hyperthetical questions, and Klosterman's a writer. He's written for Spin and Rolling Stone and like a million other magazines, and he just produced these series of ridiculous questions. And I always was dying to like ask people some of these, but I just never had the context for it. So now, while everyone is trapped at home, I can wrangle people up and ask them silly questions. And plus, I just like they give my brain many wrinkles. They're fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna sort through the stack of them. I've set aside previously answered questions, so there are fewer left, and I'm just going to pull 3, and Joe, as guest, you get to pick... Oh, well, that's perfect right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got 3. You pick one for us, all right? So there is this one here. I can't read it reverse. Artistic telekinesis. That's 1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shiny. Euphoria Forever.
Oh.
I wish this could be... There we go. Euphoria Forever. Or Joe Sixpack. That was random pill.
All 3 of these apply to me directly.
Should we just use these?
Yeah.
Let's just run through these. I think these are all excellent. I don't even know what they are. I just look up by branding. What would you like to start with?
Euphoria Forever.
Done. What I like about it is like the smiley face balloon. You can't see it. All right.
Yeah, but on the reverse side, it's like an angry clown face.
Just text. Just text. Alrighty. Okay. Imagine the following 3 sensations. 1. Chewing and swallowing the first mouthful of your favorite food after starving yourself for 48 straight hours. The food is prepared perfectly. 2. Lying down on an especially cozy bed after 12 hours of nonstop physical labor on a cold day. 3. The first moment of urinary release after having held a completely full bladder for more than 90 minutes. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I think my wife and I might have answered. Well, we'll do this. This is still good. All right. For the rest of your life, you will feel one of these three ways all the time.
All the time.
All the time. This is how you will always feel 24 hours a day. You won't be doing the specific activity, but you'll always be experiencing the acts accompanying euphoria. Which one do you select? So, perfectly prepared food after being starved for 48 hours, cozy bed after 12 hours of physical labor on a cold day, or the first moment of urinary release after holding your bladder for 90 minutes.
I feel it's really tough. I feel like a lot of my life is working towards laying down. Like, I'm just doing things I have to do. But like, if someone said to me, "You can stop doing that," I'd be like, "Great," and then I would immediately go to lay down. But the urination one is real intriguing because we've all been there. Like, it's the craziest feeling in the world. And it's the like where if you're in a stall in a men's room, you put your hand on the wall, you're like, oh. So to have that all the time.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I wouldn't want the lying down one. I like that feeling. But feeling that way all the time doesn't seem compatible with a busy, active lifestyle like mine.
That's true. It's like there's got to be a downside to feeling this way all the time. Like that lying down, you're comfortable, or you're too comfortable when you don't want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, that sensation of the first of peeing after really having to go probably isn't great when you're trying to do other things with your penis. So
I'm going to leave that one open-ended, I think. The sleeping one that's the thing. It's like, you would just be like you'd be like a somnambulist. You'd be like a sleepwalker. You'd just be like ineffective all the time.
Aren't we all sleepwalking through life anyway?
Now we're getting into the deep philosophy.
Here we go.
Cheers to that. No. Honey, what's on television? No.
Shark Tank again?
I guess. I'll be asleep in 5 minutes. Chewing and swallowing the first mouthful of food. The thing about that one that I think about is like pizza, which I guess is my favorite food. It has to be. I don't eat it all that often, but I always think like even if it's prepared perfectly, it's probably still going to be a little too hot. You know?
Oh yeah, the first bite, yeah.
So you get that. No, I don't want that. That seems like kind of a little bit stressful. I think Go ahead.
Even pizza at perfect temperature, like, yeah, I don't know. I was not drawn to the food one at all, even though I have major food problems. And yeah, there's something about it. It's like,
yeah,
I can do without.
Yeah. I also kind of feel like the food one that you could kind of craft that yourself a little bit.
Craft the pea one.
Yeah, but it's not as common. It's not as
true.
usual. Like if you go to a baseball game and you've had like 3 beers, like those are the conditions that usually you get. You're like, oh god, I really got to go at like the top of the 6th before there's a big line. But yeah, I also think it's a little bit energizing. You get that like, yeah.
Sure.
Let's do this.
So, are we ruling out the food one completely?
I feel food is out. I feel sleep is a great feeling, but just not compatible with a 24-hour a day situation.
What would it be like though? That feeling if you get into bed and the bed is comfortable, and then like I don't know for you, but for me later, like I'll be in bed for a long time and then it becomes uncomfortable.
Yes.
But if you had that feeling the whole time, you would get the first decent night's sleep of your life. Every night.
Okay, so now I'm thinking on this. Because like right before you fall asleep, and you start having like the most amazing crazy thoughts and you're like, I better write this down, and then clunk. You're out and you lost it.
What if as soon as you tapped into that all the time?
Yeah. Would it make you like some sort of like Bradley Cooper in Limitless? Would you just have like some sort of
I think this is how Limitless was written. Someone read this card. Had this same exact conversation.
I got an idea for a movie, man. It's going to star Bradley Cooper. Stop right there. You had me at Brad. I don't know. That would be kind of cool. You'd be very zen.
All the time.
What's that?
Everything down in the notebook. you'd have a notebook with you all the time because it would be that state where I keep a notebook by my bed so I can write down my ideas. And then when you wake up in the morning, none of them make sense. So it'd be the same thing, though. You'd be walking around all day with a notebook. You'd be like, why was I writing about this in the elevator?
Yeah, does it only make sense to you? Would it make sense to somebody else?
Yeah, as soon as you say it out loud, you're like, no, that's dumb. Maybe people are experiencing this already.
I'm actually starting to kind of... I feel like the worm is starting to turn a little bit. I'm starting to think like maybe this wouldn't be a bad way to live your life, where you're just kind of connected to that ethereal, like lightweight feeling. You could probably form a cult around this, like real easy. Like
yeah.
People would gravitate to your relaxed nature.
What's the exact wording? Do you still have the card?
Yes. Lying down on an especially cozy bed after 12 hours of nonstop physical labor on a cold day. You will feel one of these ways all the time. It's how you will always feel 24 hours a day. You won't be doing the specific activity, but you'll always be experiencing the acts accompanying euphoria.
It's really tough because that first one when you lay down is kind of like it's a come down. It's not a come up.
Yeah.
You know, it's a downer.
How do you sleep if you constantly have the pee feeling? Oh, no.
Yeah, there you go. You're never sleeping.
Oh, no. You have to get up like...
We got to double back to the food one because that's the only one where we're sleeping and peeing in the moment.
Okay, how about this for the food one? You have that food euphoria feeling all the time, right? Does it trigger something in you where you want to be eating? Like, it doesn't matter what you eat. You could eat, like, something awful and have the same feeling as eating something awesome.
That's true. So you're eating, like, a saltine, which is fine. I'm not bragging on saltines, but and you're like, oh, this is the best. This is the like Mama used to make.
How quickly would people find you insufferable? When you're like, get out of here.
When your job as a food critic would be over. You're like, it's delicious.
This is what I like about these questions because they are all very much like an episode of The Twilight Zone. They can get undone real quick. Like it's like, oh, finally I can read all these books. Oh, but wait. Was that Chris Hardwick had that joke where he's like, every episode of The Twilight Zone should just be titled "Nice Try, Asshole." That's how I don't know that I'm going to come down on any of these firmly, other than I don't know. What do you think? If you gun to the head, what would you pick?
If I were a younger man, I would be more indecisive, but I'm in the back half now, so
back half.
The comfort of a good bed sounds great all the time. Like I'm at work, I'm drawing on a computer all day long. Who cares?
Yeah,
like, I might as well be comfortable.
I think it makes the most sense for the both of us. Like if you're in a creative field and you're in that kind of like weird euphoria state all the time. Have you ever seen those videos? There's like a guy who like drew self-portraits of himself on every drug. Like here's him on.
That's cool.
Have you heard of this? Oh, you gotta look it up. It's wild. Like he does, like weed, like and it escalates. Like here's a self-portrait of me on LSD. Here's me on heroin. Here's me on cocaine. Here's something like, and they're all like just wildly different. And he could be that could be an affectation. I mean, what he thinks a cocaine high should look like. It could be that.
Sure.
But he did it. So
I mean, art is so weird. He could have been a shitty artist that day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I think the cocaine one looks like he's exploding. And like the LSD one looks like he's melting and like
that's almost a little too on the nose.
A little bit, but like some of them I'll have to look it up. It's been a few years since I looked at it.
The heroin one, he looked like a needle.
The heroin one was very like dark and like just down. And if I remember correctly, I have to go back and look. But it was a really interesting idea where you're like, this sounds like something that he applied for a grant and out of like totally unlikely he got it. He's like, great, I can buy drugs with grant money. Like it felt like that.
And he gets arrested. He's like, but the grant.
Look, I got a letter. I'm gonna have to go to sleep. I think it's sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try another one.
Is this designed as like a party game, or is this like something that you bring into a bar? What are these cards made out of?
There's paper, just flimsy.
Was it made as like? Is this something you buy at Spencer's Gifts or?
I'm not even sure I remember where I got it, other than I follow Klosterman on Twitter, and he talked about it. He's actually got a second set of these coming out in October. I don't know how old these are.
Game. It's a icebreaker.
Yeah, I like these kind of things. When I was in high school, I bought a book called If, and it was just like questions for the game of life, and they were
a shitty version of It.
If I eat you, if you float. If in my deadlights. No, but I would ask my friends these questions. I don't even know where I got those books. I think I got it as like a birthday gift, and you would just ask these like crazy questions where it's like the if you could travel back in time and kill Hitler, would you? Like it was like a lot of those kind of questions, and then this just felt like it was exaggerated to cartoonish degrees. So like beyond hypothetical, hyperthetical.
Watch so, the next card's gonna be Baby Hitler.
Baby Hitler. Nope. Baby Hitler.
Oh.
If you could give Baby Hitler a hug, what would you?
What kind of hug would it be?
Hey, look, all he had to do, they just had to let him into art school. That's all.
Yeah.
It's all been solved.
Yeah.
This is teetering on dangerous territory. All right.
I'll say this: his landscapes weren't that bad.
Wow.
His landscapes. I didn't see his portraits anyway.
Okay.
His politics were terrible.
Not a fan. Didn't like it.
I don't support that.
I don't know where to go with this now. Quick! We got artistic telekinesis or Joe Sixpack.
Let's Joe Sixpack. Let's go.
All right. You are placed in the unenviable position of having to compete for the right to stay alive. Aren't we all competing for the right to stay alive? Wow, this is prescient. You'll be matched against a person of your own gender in a series of 5 events. Cool. An 800-meter run, a game...
God.
Oh, no, wait. A game of Scrabble, a 3-round boxing match, a debate over the legalization of late-term abortion, scored and officiated by a reputable collegiate judge, and the math portion of the SAT. These are the 5... in order to survive, you must win at least 3 of these events. Your opponent
There's
will...
no way.
Joe's already like, pass. Dead.
Okay.
All right. Your opponent will be playing for his or her life as well. However, you kind of get to pick your opponent. You can either A, compete against a person selected at random, B, compete against someone who is exactly like you. If selected at random, the individual could be of any... Oh, sorry, it's A or B. Sorry. Someone selected at random or someone who is exactly like you. Those are your potential opponents. If selected at random, the individual could be of any age or skill level. He or she might be an infant with Down syndrome. But this person might also be an academic All-American linebacker from Notre Dame. You pick the average human. He or she will be...
That's a weird shot at the infants with Down syndrome.
Specific, but within the realm of possibility.
Okay, got it.
If you pick the average human, he or she will be precisely your age and will have an identical level of education. The person will be a perfect cross-section of your particular demographic, will be of average height and weight, with a standard IQ and the most normative life experience imaginable. So, who do you select? Or, perhaps more accurately, do you feel that you are better than an average version of yourself? This is interesting.
No. I play this game when I watch movies, and I watch a lot of movies, but I play this game where I'll be like, oh, I would have died there. I would have died there.
Yep.
I would have died there.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, I wouldn't have made it into the cave in the beginning.
Yeah, you would have tripped over a root and cracked your head up on a rock.
And Alfred Molina would be like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it that far. That's the game I play.
I play that game too, and always in apocalypse movies, where I'm like, I wouldn't, if it's a zombie movie, I wouldn't even be one of the people who's been bitten by a zombie and turns into a zombie. I'd be someone...
I don't even know it's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's how soon
I'd be like walking down the street and get run over by a car where someone in the car had been bitten by a zombie. I'd be just collateral damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not Superman. I'm the guy that Superman saves. or I'm the guy that is watching Superman scenes.
Yeah. Go
That's
get
not
him.
movies. So I almost looked at like this situation as a sacrifice. Like, there's no way I'm going to win any of this competition. Maybe one. Maybe
None of these.
I might get lucky on Scrabble, but is it Words with Friends or is it Scrabble?
Scrabble.
The dictionary. Right. So no, there's no chance I'm going to win any of these games. So it's almost like a sacrifice. So I would almost prefer there's a third option where I could choose the person I'm saving. Like. Yeah. So if that were an option, I would 100% do that. I would save somebody that is worthy of saving, as opposed to being like a random draw or some asshole like me. But if it was a choice between those two, random draw.
Okay. I find that magnanimous and charming.
Ooh.
But you are outside the boundaries of the rules, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So random draw. I don't lose to, our duel will begin with a handshake of congratulations for me. Hit the jack.
You don't think within, like, okay, I got to look at what the compete against a person selected at random or compete against someone who is exactly like you. If random could be any age or skill level. Any age. Could be, like, now think about that. Could be like a 90-year-old guy.
Sure.
Could
when
be.
he beats me in that foot race, I'd be embarrassed. Don't get me wrong.
Huh.
Or it could be that Down syndrome baby, right? Like people that's in there.
That feels kind of mean.
Super mean. Like, you should be reacting to that the same way you reacted to me complimenting Hitler's landscapes.
I'm going to sidestep that one. I don't know the answer to this question. This is really interesting because what the question they're asking you is not the question that they're asking. What they really want to know is do you think you are better than an average version of yourself? Somebody who has the exact same education, background, height, weight, experience as you, but leveled out.
Right.
Do you think you're better than that person?
I think I'm that person. I think I'm that. I'm the average person that excelled beyond, or I lucked into. Like, I'm a dum-dum that did okay in high school or whatever. I'm a dum-dum that got a college degree.
Yeah.
I'm a out of shape idiot who has managed to live into his middle age. You know what I mean? Without dying.
Yeah. I just chalk that one up to being a white guy in America. Like,
yeah.
Pretty much. Sorry. I try to be conscientious. I try to recognize it, but it's kind of hard to fuck up. Like, which is, ugh.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how else to articulate that, but I'm trying to think. Somebody, the person will be a perfect cross section of your particular demographic, average height, average weight, standard IQ, most normative life experience.
Oh my God, Tom, what if when you choose that person, it's me? I'm saying, what if I'm the other person?
I know, but this is.
Yeah.
This feels. Wow.
I would lose on purpose for you, Tom. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's kind of you. I would not.
Hawkeye Black Widow style battle at the end.
For death. To death. Death. I don't know.
I don't care. I'm tired anyway.
I was just going to say, we're in the back half, right? So, like.
Yeah. You can have it.
You can't. Don't threaten me with a good time. Like. Put me to death. Dare ya. That's an awkward question. That's a real, like... I feel like I'm going to have weird dreams now.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to mess with me. I guess another angle to this question is, are you a betting man or not?
Sure.
Because statistically, if you pick somebody at random, of all the people in the world, again, white guy in America,
Yeah.
handed a lot of advantages compared to the rest of the world. I mean, presumably world. It doesn't say, but...
Your chances are really good that you'll get a baby or an old person or someone that you can beat in the physical stuff and even mental stuff really easily.
Yeah.
The chances are pretty good. You should be looking up what the levels are. Like how many 40-year-olds there are in the world and how many 20-year-olds there are in the world.
There has to be more elderly people than there ever has been.
Sure.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Wipe the floor with.
Probably all beat me at Scrabble. I'm like, that's not a word, old man.
Yeah, well, they know all those like 2-letter words like qua, and like they put them on the triple word score where they fit. Fuck you, Gerald. Like, dare you play that?
You're being dragged to hell screaming, if I had a Z, I would have kicked your ass, old man.
The Scrabble one is interesting to me though because like everybody's got a board game that no one will play with them. Like, I won't play Clue with my wife. I'm terrible at it, but she is exceptional at it. I'm just like, I can't play. It's like that is an unfair advantage. She just destroys me. But Scrabble is like my jam. So but nobody wants to play Scrabble with me. They're like, that's not a word. I'm like, we will bring out the dictionary and you will lose a turn. And I'm not cool about it. You know how some people play Monopoly, like to win?
Yeah, it's to win.
Yeah.
Are you at we have kids that are roughly the same age.
Yeah.
Are you at a place where you're willing to let them win? Because I still play board games with my kids, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to win this. Like, I'm not gonna, except unless it's like Shoots and Ladders or Candyland. But if it's Monopoly, like my son and I play Monopoly or chess, like I'm not gonna let him beat me at chess.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna give in. If he beats me, great. But like,
I'm not
gonna like sacrifice.
I don't let my kids win, but I do make sure they understand the rules.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, almost like in a game of chess, you would say like, "Oh, this might have been an interesting move if you did this. It would have opened up this lane." Things like that.
Right.
Like you'd show them their options and everything.
My parents never would lose on purpose for me, so I that's not in my makeup. Of course, if they did lose on purpose, how would I know? But because every kid thinks they're great. I am the winner of everything. I don't know. Sometimes we'll play like family board games where nobody understands the rules, and we'll play like 2 or 3 times. We're like, "What the fuck is this game?" Like, what game were we playing? We were just given a game recently, and we tried playing it, and it was a very simple game. It was like match the color to the fruit or something. It was like very like, and we're like, wait, what? Like nobody, and we had to like slap each other to like get a piece in the middle. Like it was just very like, this was a poorly constructed game. This is no Scrabble. Like Scrabble has a grid. There are rules. It's it's symmetrical. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to come down definitively on this, and I'm going to go with random just because I like the odds.
Yeah, their odds are good there.
I mean, yeah. I
like random too, but it's only because like I know I'm losing this thing. I've given up before the selection process is made, so it doesn't matter.
I like your reasoning though. That's if you're talking about playing the in the movie where like I would have died there, I would have died there. You would have gone out on a high note with that move. Be like, everyone would be like, "Oh, why is he doing it?" But damn, if I don't respect it. All right, we'll knock out one more here. I don't know how much more time we have. They don't have like a timer or anything on the Zoom.
There's no like ticking clock. It could be an over by now, right?
Probably. Who knows? All right, this one is called Artistic Telekinesis. We'll wrap it up with this one. Thanks to those who are sitting in and watching. And
Who's watching? Anybody watching?
Adam Lightfoot is watching. Hello, Adam. James McLaughlin is watching. Hello, James. And I'm sorry we haven't answered any of your questions. So I'm looking at the chat.
We've been too engrossed.
Well, Adam thinks the urinary release one is the one that we should have gone with there. And let's see.
Your first instincts.
Yeah, they're just chatting. They're very engaged. Thank you for participating and watching and indulging in our nonsense. We'll wrap it up here. Artistic telekinesis. Let's assume that you have the ability to telekinetically change culture. Oh boy. While you actively experience it. Your mind can now dictate what you see and hear. For example, if you were listening to Pearl Jam's Yield and you wanted the music to be heavier, it would immediately sound as though Mike McCready's guitar had been tuned differently in the studio. If you were watching The Office on NBC and decided that Jim should marry Pam, or Karen, or both, you could make it happen. All you would need to do is think about that specific desire. You could stare at an oil painting and unconsciously change the color contrasts. If a PG-13 romantic comedy grew dull, you could force it to evolve into an eroticized NC-17 thriller. You could essentially write books as you read them, eliminating certain characters and redirecting plot points as they occurred in the text. However, such changes would only appear to your experience, no one else. You could kill off Han Solo at the end of Return of Jedi, but that would not change the movie for anyone else. All other people...
Wait. It wouldn't change it for anybody else. Okay, go on.
Yep. All other people would possess the same personal psychic powers as you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ooh. Would you want this ability? And if it became reality, would art retain any meaning whatsoever? I kind of feel like this one's a gimme, but...
Until you said everybody else. Like, if everyone else was experiencing the movie as it was intended, and you were able to change it, and you did change it, then you wouldn't be experiencing the same movie.
Right.
And you wouldn't be able to take part in it culturally. Like, you would have changed the way Lost ended, and you wouldn't have been able to participate in what Lost was as a cultural moment.
That's an excellent example.
Like, geeks talking online, and every week discussing it, and you're like, what are you talking about? So-and-so died, the smoke monster turned into Kate, and...
Yeah.
like, it wouldn't... So, it would be a different... You'd be watching different shows, and that's not cool. But my first instinct was, like, I do not deserve this power. Like, like, I shouldn't be in charge of this stuff. Like, when I wrote the movie reviews for the webcomic, I would try so hard to not compare it to other movies, or to not be like, I wish she killed this character, or I wish it ended like this, because all it does is take away from what they were trying to do. Even though you see that a lot. Like, a lot of people watch movies that way.
Yeah.
I would say no to this. It's too much responsibility, and you're not getting you're not getting the lows of life. It's all up here, and when you're up here all the time, did you see The Good Place? Let's not spoil The Good Place. When you're up here all the time, you never appreciate being up here.
I totally agree with you. I think this is a case of absolute power corrupting absolutely.
Yeah.
You get everything you want. Well, also, what if your ideas suck?
Yeah.
You know, like you grow not at all. You experience nothing. You live entirely in your own head. Oh no, I've wasted my entire life. Like, start to feel that way. This is so timely because I got into it with comic book nerds today on Twitter. And should not have.
Do tell.
Oh, it was so dumb. So, like, first thing this morning, somebody was showing, like, they grabbed a clip of the Air Force One rescue scene from Iron Man 3. And so I retweeted it, and I was like, I like this scene a lot. But the guy who originally shared it was like, I completely forgot about this scene, but it's so cool. And I go, I agree it's cool. I go, I think the reason you kind of forget about it is because at the end, Tony's in the remote armor, and it blows apart. And the whole, like, heroic act is played for laughs.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like, you know, narratively I didn't like it because, like, it means a little more when the hero is at risk. Right?
Yeah.
And people were twisting my words as Twitter does. And they're like, wow, you must really hate Superman because he's never at risk. I'm like, he's not my favorite because, yeah, he doesn't face a lot of threats. When they're like, well, Iron Man wasn't in any kind of threatening situation because, you know, he's wearing the armor. And I'm like, I need the illusion of there being stakes.
Yeah, I mean, that moment I think could have worked if it had a button later on. And it might. I haven't watched Iron Man 3 in a long time. I like Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
We were watching to see how it does this. But if you compare it to what happens with the suits in Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, where there's a moment where Peter realizes that Tony's not even there. But then later, Tony is there, and he pops out. He's like, what do you mean? You're not even here? And he pops out.
Yeah.
And it's a different emotional beat, but it's a really powerful one. Like, it's different than Danger. But you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. My contention is that, like, if he can just remote pilot these suits, there's no reason for him to ever leave the house.
Yeah.
He could stay at home and watch America's Funniest Home Videos with Pepper. And just send suits out to solve problems. Like he did at the end of the movie when he called 50 of them to one place. Right? Now, granted, that scene was about setting that other scene up. The later scene up. Going, oh, he can do telepresence. Okay, cool. But, I don't know. It's like a potato thing, and like people are all about it. Tying it back, to the question, it's something that Gordon has said in the past, and I had never really thought about. And it's the same thing. You can't criticize art for what you want it to be. You have to meet it where it is. And I always try and keep that in mind because I often think about like, oh, it would be so much cooler if blah. You know, it'd be so much cooler if Luke didn't have a hand put on at the end of Jedi, instead just had a lightsaber hand and they just went swamp. You know, like that would have been cool. Like
you can't even bring Star Wars into it because then there would be versions of that movie in people's minds where Luke and Leia weren't even related.
Right.
There would certainly be versions where Darth Vader wasn't their father, and like, can you imagine not being able to talk to Star Wars about somebody? You'd be like, oh man, it's like an Empire when Vader's like, I am your father, and they're like, what are you talking about? Vader died at the end of New Hope at the hands of the Hulk that Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This is a shitty power. I was with it. I was with it for a minute, right? But it got ramped up, and there's really no. I mean, okay, so you're listening to an album, you want the music to be heavier, and suddenly it is. Yeah, I've thought that. That would be cool. And it's only me, and it doesn't change. Well, it does change the expression. It changes the expression. So you're dictating how somebody else communicates their message to you.
Right.
It's not even a slippery slope. It's almost like straight down.
I mean, the answer. I feel like the answer to this question is the same to any criticism. Is like, if you don't like it, make your own version. Like, if you think that no code needs to be a little heavier, if you think the Kurdi's guitars need to be tuned up differently, then you do that album. You know, get into start practicing.
This is also timely because I was on Pajiba, pop culture blog, and they were talking about like Metallica did a stay-at-home thing or whatever, and we were talking about. Have you ever listened to And Justice for All?
Sure.
Okay, so like the bass is real low in the mix. Like they basically buried Jason Newsted on that record. You can't hear the bass at all. Somebody went out and fixed the mix and uploaded it to YouTube, and you can hear it with like a level bass, and it fucking slaps. It's great. But they didn't do it that way. Now is that fair? I want to hear this version of it, or that was the decision that the artist made at the time, and right or wrong, that's what was committed to record.
Yeah.
You went out and made your own version of it. Sorta.
Yeah.
You're standing on the shoulders of giants.
I mean, yeah, and that's okay. Like, there's tons of people that do remixes, and if you like the remix better, that's fine. Like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. But
you like a version of it.
Do you consider that to be its own thing? The remix is its own thing?
Yeah. The remix is its own thing. I think so.
Yeah. I used to not feel that way. I used to kind of feel like it wasn't theft exactly, but
it's become such a strange thing because so many people have access to editing software and everything. So like anybody can do a remix and may have it sound great.
Yeah.
So it's become sort of it's like an homage culture. Like they're just trying to tweak it in fun ways. It's almost like not a slam against it, but just an homage.
Yeah, or enhance it in a different way, or pass it through a different filter. I don't know. Like it's almost like I always like to say that like memes are hieroglyphs, Yeah. Because sometimes they could just show you a picture in context with a phrase, and you go, I know what you mean. And there's no subtitle or anything else, but like the layers of knowledge that are required for you to have, cultural knowledge for you to have, and it only works in certain places, and it certainly doesn't transcend, geography or anything else. Like a SpongeBob reference or something like,
Yeah.
And that couldn't happen unless there was some sort of like shared understanding or shared touch point.
That's the thing. That's the thing that really cheeses me about this question is that you're losing the shared experience.
Yeah.
Which is so much more important than if the record or the movie is good or not. It's the shared experience.
I feel like we're tugging on a string here. I feel like we're really close to something because this is such a how do I want to put it? You and I have been in this. I don't know what to do with my hands. No, you and I have been in this sphere long enough where you know how people are. Oh man,
Just keep rising.
just straight. But I mean, you know how people are, right? And they want to argue or they want to get you to understand their point of view.
Yeah,
and it's fun. It's fun to have that dialogue, but it can turn bad so fast sometimes.
You remember like the message board days where like on a message board you post something and you really well thought out and everything, and then it's not like Twitter where it just goes by so fast. It was different. God, I'm such an old asshole.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But like Twitter and like the way that it is now, and is part of the reason I don't do it anymore. Like you just can't. It's not a conversation anymore. People aren't listening the same way.
Yeah.
People don't. I'm an old asshole. People don't care like they used to.
Well, tying it back to that Iron Man 3 thing, there's just not enough room for nuance. You got to come with a hot take that's either bulletproof or else you're going to get dragged. And that's what happened to me because I like kind of responded to it first thing in the morning. I hadn't had my coffee yet, and I mouthed off on social media, which is my bad. You know, like I shouldn't have done that. I don't have my discipline. I have none. Like I should. But sometimes you get one over home plate, you know, and you go, yeah, you know, like you see where I'm coming from, and by the end of it, it all leveled out. But yeah, I don't know. I think so many. You're exactly right. Like so many people are, not. I don't know how to articulate this either. It's that do you listen to be heard, or what? I'm losing the phrase. Like you're in conversation with somebody, are you waiting for your turn to speak, or are you actually listening to what they're telling you? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
Just waiting for a moment to lay your quip in.
Right.
And that's
And
there's no way to have a conversation.
Oh, and I'm so guilty of it all the time. I try not to, but I'm guilty of it. We all are.
We all are.
But then the other angle in terms of it and how it applies to social media is that there are people who are deliberately bad faith actors who just want to provoke. So, you know, nothing you would say could ever land. And sometimes you don't know until you're neck deep in it, you know, because you think you're having an honest conversation with a stranger. I don't know why I convinced myself that's happening. I don't know. It's the more I think about this question, I do like it.
So would you do it?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on it for a minute.
Sorry,
it's fun. I'll play devil's advocate on it for a minute. It's hurting no one. That's the first thing. This is all in your head. You're adjusting the artistic experience to meet your wants.
Sure.
And it also doesn't rewrite what was. You could mentally reset it and have that experience too. So like if you think Starry Night should have a green background instead of a blue background, you could do it just to see what it would look like and then switch it back in your own head.
Also we're living in a world too where at least 60% of the people are going to accept this power. So whether you want it to be or not, the shared conversation is gone.
But is it though? This is the devil's advocacy part. Is it really gone? Because you can alter your perception of it, and the existing. It's everybody else has the power.
Yes, that's yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not going to stop people from taking that power. So it's gone. The shared conversation is gone. So you might as well take the power. You know. You might as well. It's there if you want it.
You could use it or not use it. You could abuse it or not.
But don't lose it. You need to choose it.
You got to cruise with it.
Yeah. You watch the news on it.
Fake news. If everybody has the power, that's an interesting flip too. If everybody else has the power and you don't,
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. You could be, you know what that would turn you into is like the town crank.
Yeah.
The real Star Wars was this, man.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's who you are. Like, that would suck.
At the same time, all the Star Wars movies, including the prequels, would have been pretty fucking good. So you would have been like, yeah, not so much with this Jar Jar.
Not so much with this Jar Jar. I have to drop this in. I don't know if you've listened. Have you listened to Newcomers?
No,
it's a podcast with Nicole Byer and Lauren Lapkus.
Oh yeah.
Where they have never seen any of the Star Wars movies, and the whole podcast is every episode they watch a different movie and then give their thoughts on it, having never seen it. And it is fantastic because as someone who is positively soaking in it, and the guy you don't want to talk to about Star Wars, to hear about it from someone who's like, yeah, I knew that Jar Jar was a thing, but I didn't know why people were so pissed off about it, you know, and then they go and watch The Phantom Menace and they're like, we love Jar Jar. And you're like, maybe I was wrong. It's refreshing. And they're also doing stuff like they are diving into the fan fiction, and like the Star Wars Holiday Special, and like weird outliers and stuff too. So to come at it from a completely fresh perspective is actually really nice. Because you're like
crazy because that brings up the whole thing with like, do people hate Jar Jar because he's the worst, or do they hate Jar Jar because the world hates Jar Jar? Like, I remember seeing Jar Jar and thinking like, oh, he's for kids. Like, you know, my kids someday will really love this. And there's times when Jar Jar is a good time, and there's other times where he's the most annoying thing on the planet.
Jar Jar was wrong place, wrong time.
Sure,
that's my opinion. Because
there's no place, no time in the Star Wars universe.
He made an excellent senator.
He
What?
should have stayed on the boot. He should have been waving at the ship as they flew away to fight the real battle.
Good to see you. Now, I think what they kind of talked about in Newcomers is that the expectations for Star Wars were so high after 20 years, and then here comes this character, this cartoon, truly, and people go, "What the fuck is that?" You know, and you can take a step away from it now. What's most hilarious is that the people who are now watching like the J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson films are going like, "This is the shit," and meanwhile there are like prequel people who are going, "No, those movies suck. The prequels are where it's at." Like it's the same swish of mouthwash just going over to the other cheek is what it is. It's I don't know.
So in this universe, does it become a sort of thing where people are like, all right, we're going to watch it through once, as is, and then, like, repeat ticket sales. Like, people are going back and, like, this time I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to change this. Like, so, like, even if you're hating it, you're like, oh, I wish this was, I wish this character was dead, but I'm going to see what they do with it, because he might become the best thing in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is everybody watching it through once, as is, original cut, and then I'm going to do the Joe Dunn director's cut.
Ooh.
Where there's tits everywhere.
John Wick with boobs. You know what? This is a great question because it got me thinking about how would this change the amount of art we have?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
What if there was just like one movie? There was only ever one movie. And everybody spins their version out of it, and then and especially now, write about it, tell people about, like, which is kind of what they're doing now. It's kind of what they're doing now. But, like, you could take a stupid idea you had and put it into somebody else's head and go, oh, have you seen John Wick? Have you seen my version of John Wick?
Yeah.
Where he does this, and then you go to the movie and you imagine what your friend told you, and you'd be like, oh, that's way better. Or no, you know, like... And
it would be like, it's like going to, like they do this sometimes where you go to a movie with the creator commentary in your headphone. You put the headphone in and you watch the movie and you listen to it. This time you're watching somebody say, okay, now imagine this. And then you change it live.
Like a riff tracks.
Yeah.
Ooh. So that'd be kind of fun. That's interesting because now we're getting beyond, like, how how the individual interprets art and now how like, this kind of ability would affect culture.
Sure.
Which
is the bigger thing in the long run, because you can either have it affect your personal take or not, but it's definitely going to affect the world.
Do people, on the whole, become more creative as a result?
Yeah,
because they start
initially for sure, but there could be something to this where people are telling you how to change it.
Maybe, but
you're right. Initially, for sure, there'd be, and you're right. There would be like, instead of being like 5 different versions of Terminator 2 on DVD,
Right. There'd be 7.
Like, did you see the Joe Schmo version of Terminator 2?
Oh, that's the best. This is actually kind of
Judgment Week.
Just nonstop nukes for a week. Just keep nuking. Don't stop nuking.
Everywhere. It's everywhere you look.
Terminator 2. Don't stop nuking. This is actually kind of an interesting idea because, okay, the other thing that this...
We must be coming up on the end, too, because I think we started at
we're very
9:28.
I presume we're close, but I'm not getting anything that's saying, like, you're done. So I'll pose this. I'll pose this last one and we'll put it to bed. So, oh, crap. I kind of lost it. Okay, so now the question becomes, is it better for the singular artist to express their vision to the audience, or is it better for the audience to have their own sparks, right? So you're an artist, you make something, you say, look at my thing, and it elicits a response from the audience, and then that's the end of that exchange. It might inspire somebody to go off and go like, I want to make my own art, and they make their own thing, and then they share it, and so on and so on. It's a version of storytelling, right? And some people, it just stops them dead in their tracks, where they're like, I don't get it, and never happens again.
Does it almost become like movies become a true choose your own adventure? Like, people aren't making full movies anymore. They're just like doing like they're creating problems and saying, well, what would you do?
Yeah.
And then you play out the rest of the movie in your head. So there is no original cut of Star Wars. It's just Luke kisses Leia. What happens next?
Yeah. Credits.
Yeah. And then we end up with Pooh the movie.
I kind of feel like if this question were asked of other people, they wouldn't reach these kind of conclusions. I feel like, us being kind of in a creative sphere, we see the potential storytelling opportunities beyond what the powers would allow.
Maybe, but those people could still beat me in a foot race. Thanks for watching.
Hey, everybody! Oh, that was perfect. That is perfect. I got nothing. That's a good callback. Good show.
I thought this was so much fun.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for doing it. I really appreciate it. And I honestly wouldn't have done another one of these. You suggested it, and I was like, I got a plan.
Well, you know what it was? Is you had sort of started teasing it, like, I'm going to do this thing. And I was like, that sounds fun. And I saw you post, like, I'm starting one now. And I was in bed. I was starting to put on some stupid TV show. And I said, no, you know what? I grabbed my phone. I grabbed my iPad. And I came into my office, and I listened to you and your wife talk. And I drew while you guys talked. It was the best. It was just like a great, like, hangout. And it was at a time where I feel like people really needed it. So more.
I appreciate that. That's cool, man. No, when I started out, I don't even know what I was thinking about, other than like, I gotta pivot, like I gotta do something, like, and then depression settles in. I'm not gonna do this. I'm tired. Go sleep.
No, yeah, totally.
But then we had a conversation last week, and you're like, you should do no one of those. I was like, I should. Who should I should invite somebody. Who should I invite?
Well, you could have made a better choice there, but I'm not but I had fun. So.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's well.
Same to you, yeah.
Toughing it out. And for everyone watching, really appreciate it. And hope you're all doing well also. And awesome. And maybe we'll do another one of these soon. I don't know. We'll see.
You should wrangle somebody to come back next week.
I can probably threaten somebody.
A couple people.
One or two, I think. Let's make all right. I'll chew on that. I'll marinate. I'll think about it. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week. See you later. Whoops. I probably have not turned it off.
That's okay. I think we timed it